You know the game. Madden, the legendary football video game series that has grown into a monopoly on an entire industry. But how did it get that way? How did a former coach and broadcaster become the face of the biggest football game in the world? Well, first we need to understand the man the game is named after.
Delighted that he's here tonight. Please welcome Mr. John Madden.
Along with John Madden and Pat Summerall here with John Madden.
Like, this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket.
And I figured out how they do it. Jenny calls signals, sends Carl deep for a Big Mac, and cuts inside for your coat.
Joe Montana looks more like Barry Manilow, doesn't he? But when you get that close, they're supposed to make it. You give a triple pump, pump, pump.
Born in 1936, John Madden was one of the most successful and influential figures in NFL history. He began his career as a college football player and was eventually drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in 1958, but a knee injury ended his playing career. However, he still had a passion for the game, so he transitioned to coaching college and eventually made his way back to the NFL as a linebackers coach for the Oakland Raiders in 1967, and 2 years later, promoted to head coach of the Raiders, becoming the youngest head coach in the AFL at the age of 32. He led the Raiders to 8 playoff appearances, 7 division titles, 7 AFL and AFC championship game appearances, and the franchise's first Super Bowl title in Super Bowl 11 in 1977, where they defeated the Minnesota Vikings 32-14.
There he is.
That's a job. That's the toughest job Oakland's had today. Lifting John Madden up. They got him up there. 250 pounds. Off they go. And the Raiders have won the Super Bowl.
Over his coaching career, he never had a losing season. But 2 years later, he would retire from coaching, citing health and family reasons.
I'm not resigning, I'm not quitting, I'm not doing anything. I'm retiring from football coaching, and I'm never going to coach again.
He joined CBS as a color commentator in 1980, working with various play-by-play announcers including Gary Bender, Vin Scully, but ultimately landed with Pat Summerall. The popular broadcasting duo will go on to cover many memorable games.
This guy right here.
Oh, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. Didn't you coach Burt Reynolds?
Yes, I did.
Was he any good?
He was a defensive back.
I know. Was he any good, I said? He probably was.
He had a good personality.
Nah, those guys can't
He
play.
was a good personality.
He also created the All Madden team, a group of players who he thought represented football and played the game the way he thought it should be played. Madden was known for his enthusiastic, humorous, and insightful commentary, as well as his trademark phrases.
Hit that with boom.
Boom, boom, tough acting, acting. Like I was saying, light beer tastes great.
He was widely respected and admired by players, coaches, fans, and media. That's why in 1984, Electronic Arts founder Trip Hawkins approached John with the idea of making a realistic football simulation game. Madden agreed, but only with one condition. The game had to feature 11 players on each side, just like in real football. This was a challenge for the technology at the time, but Hawkins and his team worked hard to make Madden's vision come true. They released John Madden 2 for the Apple II computer. The game was a hit, and it soon was transferred to other platforms like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. Madden himself was involved in the developmental process, providing his voice, likeness, and expertise to the game.
On first down, I'd still run it right at him.
He also helped to popularize the game with his enthusiastic and humorous commentary, which became one of the hallmarks of the series. However, Madden was not the only football game on the market. There were other games that tried to compete with it, such as Tecmo Bowl, Joe Montana Football, and NFL Quarterback Club. But none of them could match Madden's level of realism, depth, and innovation. Madden became the undisputed king of football games, and by the late 1990s, it had sold over 20 million copies worldwide. However, in 1999, Madden faced a new challenge, NFL 2K.
NFL 2K on Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
Developed by Visual Concepts, it was the launch title for the newly released Sega Dreamcast.
In other business news, Sega is rolling out a new video game console this week, hoping to win back a larger share of the market.
What does Sega's Dreamcast have that Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo's 64 don't? For the first time, a video game system will allow you to play your opponent who doesn't even have to be in the same room, in the same city, or the same state. You'll be able to play online.
We believe the future of gaming is the internet.
NFL 2K was praised for its stunning graphics, smooth gameplay, and realistic presentation. Many critics and gamers consider NFL 2K to be the better game over Madden. Side note, I personally got a Dreamcast because of NFL 2K, NBA 2K, and my go-to Tony Hawk Pro Skater. The Dreamcast and its graphics for that time period. Okay, moving on. NFL 2K and Madden went head-to-head for the next few years, each trying to outdo the other with new features, modes, and improvements. The competition was fierce and ultimately benefited us, the consumers, who got to enjoy two high-quality football games. However, in 2004, the game changed. NFL 2K5, the fifth installment of the series, made a bold move. It cut its price from $50 to $20 per game, hoping to attract more customers and undercut Madden's sales. The strategy worked, as NFL 2K5 sold over 1.5 million copies, while Madden 2005 sold 4.5 million copies, a decline from the previous year. NFL 2K5 was also widely regarded as the superior game, with better graphics, gameplay, features, such as the ESPN integration, the VIP system, and the crib mode. But just when it seemed like NFL 2K was on the verge of dethroning Madden, something unexpected happened. EA bought and signed an exclusive license agreement with the NFL and the NFL Players Association, which gave EA the sole rights to use the NFL's teams, players, logos, and stadiums in its video games. This effectively ended the NFL 2K series, as Visual Concepts and ultimately Sega could not compete with EA without the NFL license. The exclusive deal was controversial, as many fans and critics accused EA of creating a monopoly and stifling the competition. They also argued that the deal harmed the quality and innovation of Madden, as EA no longer had to worry about competition or losing customers to NFL 2K or any other game like it. Some even filed a class action lawsuit against EA, claiming that the deal resulted in higher prices and lower quality for consumers. EA would go ahead and settle its class action lawsuit that claimed that its exclusive rights to the NFL was an illegal monopoly. However, in 2020, the NFL and 2K games would announce a new agreement that would allow 2K to return to football, but only with non-simulation games that are different from Madden. Non-simulation games like NFL Blitz or NBA Jam. Yeah, it's a basketball game, and it takes place on a basketball court. And real NBA players are part of it, but it's just not realistic simulation of an actual NBA game with players doing multiple somersaults in the air, shooting fireballs, or anything close to a real NBA game. Yet, with the NFL license that will allow 2K games to use team names, logos, and other elements, this deal doesn't include names and images of the NFL players. For that, the company has to negotiate a separate agreement with the NFL Players Association, and there's no indication that such an agreement has been reached. Madden has remained the only NFL simulation game on the market since then, and it has continued to sell millions of copies every year. It has also expanded to other platforms such as mobile devices, online services, and virtual reality. Madden has also become a cultural phenomenon, influencing the way people watch, play, talk, and understand plays and schemes of football. It has also spawned a competitive scene with tournaments, leagues, and esports events. But what about John Madden, the man behind the game? Well, he retired from broadcasting in 2009 after a long, illustrious career. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest coaches and commentators of all time, and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. He was also a philanthropist, a businessman, and a mentor to many players and coaches. John Madden is more than a game. He's a legend. He is the reason why Madden exists and why it's so successful. He is also the reason why millions of people love football and why they love playing the game. He is the face, the voice, and the soul of Madden.